friendly environment, and my service team, I believe, is way above the standard. But there's a fourth estate, and that's creating relationships. And the relationships that we created over the course of the last 6 years are what are keeping us afloat through this pandemic. And relationships, it's
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for our special session. Up first, we need an approval of an amendment to a resolution, parking lease for University District parking deck with Maryland State Department of Education.
Move to go in the special session first.
Oh, thanks. Can I get a motion to go into special session?
So moved.
Second. Thanks. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, approval of an amendment to a resolution, parking lease for University District parking deck with the Maryland State Department of Education Division of Rehabilitation Services.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for the approval or modification to the start date of the parking lease of University District parking deck with the Maryland State Department of Education Division and Rehabilitation Services. Resolution R-21-07 was passed to approve a parking lease agreement between the City of Hagerstown and the State of Maryland for the rental of 7 parking spaces in the University District parking deck for the use by the Maryland State Department of Education Division of Rehabilitation Services on March 23, 2021, with the start date of April 1, 2021. The State of Maryland has informed the City that the State's Board of Public Works cannot convene to approve the agreement by April 1, 2021. Therefore, the state has requested a new start date for the lease of June 1st, 2021. Hereby move for approval to change the start date of said lease from April 1, 2021 to June 1, 2021. All the terms and conditions of said lease will remain as previously approved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have a public hearing, the expansion of the Hagerstown, Washington County Enterprise Zone.
So this is a hearing for public comment on the proposed expansion of the Enterprise Zone. I'd like to enter for the record reference of certification of legal notice advertisement of this hearing was publicly advertised on March 23rd and March 30th and has been provided with the memo for the file. The Enterprise Zone is an expansion. The Enterprise Zone expansion is a joint application to Maryland Department of Commerce by Washington County and the City of Hagerstown. The Enterprise Zone provides property tax credits for construction or rehabilitation investments and provides income tax credits for job creation. The Enterprise Zone was established in Hagerstown and Washington County, December 14th, 1992 by the city and county, and has had 2 subsequent renewals in 2002 and 2012. Expansion of the zone will focus on Census Tract 10.01. The expansion will enable the city and the county to better market this area for economic development. And the Enterprise Zone is up for renewal and in this designation in late December 2022. The Enterprise Zone provides 2 components of incentives. One is real property tax credits, which includes 10 years of credit against local real property taxes on the value of a portion of the real property improvements. Properties located in the city receive the tax credit on both city and county property taxes, and the local jurisdictions received a 50% reimbursement from the state on lost revenues. Years 1 through 5 are 80% of the change in assessed value and decrease in year 6 to 70%, year 7 at 60%, year 8 50%, year 9 40%, and year 10 30%. There's also an additional income tax credit, one or 3 year credits for wages paid to eligible new employees. Generally, the credit is one time, $1,000 per new worker. For economically disadvantaged employees, credits increase to a total of $6,000 per worker distributed over a 3 year period. And included, it should be maps coming up here. Well, included in the packet are the expansion areas, including general in the city, on Sweeney and Virginia, and then on the highway interchange for Oak Ridge. Those are the proposed areas of expansion. The total acreage for the enterprise zone expansion is roughly 281 acres between those tracts of land. This is again a joint application between the city and the city and the county. Apologize, these maps aren't showing. The mayor and council typically will leave the record open for 10 days following the hearing to accept additional written comment. Comments can be forwarded via email to staff at councilcomments@hagerstownmd.org. And staff plans to return to the mayor and council on April 20th to discuss the testimony provided and introduce a resolution to amend the enterprise zone area. If a resolution is approved, it will be submitted to Maryland Department of Commerce as part of a joint application with Washington County. And Maryland Department of Commerce will review the application to expand the zone and make the final determination on any added areas. Additional information, so if you have any questions, my contact information is there. I'm Doug Reeser. I'm the Business Development Specialist at the city. I'm at extension 141 for the city's phone number, and my email address is dreeser@hagerstownmd.org.
Do you guys have any questions for Doug?
I have one comment that I'd like to reiterate from the previous presentation that relates to the small section of the proposed area adjacent to the rear of the Marion Street, I think it's Marion Muller, that particular area. I believe that area is currently zoned residential, correct?
Yep, it's been taken out.
So it's been taken out altogether?
Correct, it's been removed. It's only industrial general.
Just the section that goes around?
Correct.
Okay.
There you go, boy.
Very good. My best friend's folks live on that street of Marion. They've lived there their entire lives. I do not want to go over to that house and have to explain that we've headed down the road of doing this and then rezoning and, you know.
No residential areas are included.
All right, we'll leave the record open for 10 days and see you on the 20th.
Just to note that there was no testimony presented, no one signed up, and we didn't receive any requests to be part of the meeting today either.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
City Administrator.
Just one more thing for today, Mayor. I want to give a big thanks to the customer service group downstairs and also to the utility folks that have helped handle the first couple of days of utility cutoffs. It's been very busy, but all in all, things have gone very well. And we'll continue doing this now throughout the summer until the end of October. And again, we just implore those, if you're having problems getting your bills paid, your utility bills paid, and also rent relief, there is a bunch of money out there for you. Please go to a social agency. CAC is the one we send people to predominantly, or contact REACH or DSS or any of those other organizations, and see what could be available for you, because there's a bunch of money out there. And I know they're having, it's like Councilman said, The hardest thing for government to do is give money away, and that's the problem they're having. So, just again, a big thank you, because it is not an easy job for these folks, and it's not a fun job for them either to have to do what they do, but they always do it very professionally, and they just do a great job. And thanks to utility folks who pitched in. We have about 10 folks on the line now to try to handle the influx of calls, and it's worked out fairly well. So that's all for me, Mayor.
Thank you. Kristen?
Yes. So, I wanted to address one particular item this evening that sort of popped up over the past week. And I think I'd preface it, at least for myself, and I only speak for myself here, by saying that for me personally, one of the best things that I ever did was leave the position of a partisan representation. I was a Democrat at one time. I now registered independent. I think that means unaffiliated generally in the state. And so I appreciate being able to govern at this local level with that perspective of simple fairness to the issues that are raised here, to the people we represent, in a pretty plain fashion. Even before then, I never, got too into the partisan process, and while I hesitate to make comments on the diatribe of social media arguments, and especially this particular item that is associated with the very sensitive issue of race, I felt, given the position on council and the exercise of some individuals to seek a response, that at least for me, that I would offer one. And again, this is just me, but it's interesting. One party then sort of brings to the fore of the city that sort of appropriate show of conscientious quotes, brandishing their fairness of their opposing positions and perspective. And I know there were some comments made over the last week among private parties to our delegate, one specific elected official, and then attempted to be tied to federal elected officials that I serve with. And I would say this, I can recall at a time, when it was this city, a body under the former mayor that sits beside me now, to make the conscientious choice to remove partisan politics from the city race. That we are elected as individuals that simply represent the citizens of the city, and that Republicanism and Democrat perspective, that those partisan things really hold no sway in the deliberations of this room. And if I recall correctly, it was a majority of Democrats that sat on that administration at that time, at the request of certain Republicans of this community at that time, wanting that change to be made, because frankly, there were several thousand more registered Democrats in this city than there are Republicans, and there was an issue of fairness of having the off-cycle elections and the partisan show, within that election process of favoring, traditionally Democrats because of those. And so a majority of Democrats sat at the table in that elected position and said, okay, we hear you, we recognize your concerns, and we will exercise, our ability to make it more fair. And I also recall in the last several years when we were unfortunate enough as a body that I sat on to have to seek the replacement of two of our council members, both of whom happen to be Republicans, that we happen to, as three Democrats, choose one replacement as a Republican, and then as two Democrats, an independent and a Republican, an additional Republican to serve. So we replaced both with sort of those in-kind, background perspectives. And so I think part of the difficulty I have is I've had to watch and hear and see the exercise of musical chairs of our delegate and senatorial seats that represent the citizens of this city at the state level be maneuvered, frankly, over the last probably three iterations by those same Central Committee, Republican Central Committee parties. And in that time and now, in my opinion, we have a delegate that to date, again, in my opinion, has not reached out to hear what the perspective of this body, its goals and visions are that we want to be carried down to the state. And we have a senator who appears his most primary objective is an item that we haven't requested and that I haven't heard the citizens clamoring for. And that's the communication we receive, at least this new administration and before. And so I just find difficulty when the first thing that Central Committee chooses to do is inject the matters of another party that took a perspective that I don't agree with on a matter that wasn't affiliated with individuals in this room who I can say without a doubt, just in the short time I've known some and in the longer time I've known others, are some of the most inclusive people I've met, and that I like the fact of having, in that nonpartisan perspective, representing all of the citizens of the city. And I don't think that's a fair approach to those folks that have duly ran for office and have been elected to serve the citizens of the city. And I know that you're probably looking for the response from those fellow folks here that happen to be Democrats, but in the event that you were seeking a response from the body and the members in general, that would be mine.
Thank you.
I got nothing.
Tara?
Okay. So I'm actually taking my mask off for this for once, so sorry. Don't tag me, guys, in the comments. But this is going to be, my earring is stuck. Did I do that? Sorry.
There you go.
So this is my last time speaking on this matter. As what Kristen alluded to, there was a situation that happened, I believe probably early last week and followed up with this weekend. I made an official statement on my council page on Friday about the situation, and it boiled down to a former campaign manager of mine made some very insensitive and racist comments to Delegate Champ via Facebook in the comment section. I was not a part of the conversation. I had no involvement in the conversation. I didn't even know about it. I don't even know when the original comments took place. I was just aware of the situation because my name was brought up. It was tagged in many Facebook posts asking for me to apologize, asking me to resign, and it's not fair to target me in the situation because I had no involvement. Now, what was clear in those communications that was screenshotted to me, because I didn't see the originals, is that my former campaign manager was asking questions and wanted to know why Delegate Cham voted the way she has in the past on certain agenda items. What needs to be clear for everyone is that it's okay to challenge your elected officials. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to reach out, but it has to be a respectful manner. It has to be communicated in a respectful way, not to target anyone's race, gender, nationality, religion, etc. But you can challenge, and that's what our job is, to answer your questions. We were voted, many of us was voted to represent the city of Hagerstown in Hagerstown. So we're okay with answering those questions. Now, on the flip side, I feel as though I was targeted in response to what someone else has said to someone else. I thought by making my statement on Friday, declare my name, that I was not involved, would end it, but the communication still followed. There were Facebook shares from other elected officials in the state, other delegates. Our very own Senator Paul Quarterman shared the same post that had my name referenced in the Maryland Republican Caucus memo, and it's not fair. And instead of reaching out to me like others have done in the past, and only in these few months, about matters that are important to them, they could have called me and said, hey, someone that you know is in the comments talking stuff. Can you talk to them? Because what people don't know is that I tell my family, I tell my friends, I tell those that are really close to me, don't be in the comments talking crazy. One is because it's rude. Two, because I know that they'll try to, I say they as whoever, will try to implicate me in a negative way. I ran my campaign off of integrity. I didn't challenge any one of these people personally. I didn't go on Facebook and call names out or was disrespectful at all. And that's how I choose to run this role for these next 4 years. I will continue to be respectful for every single person. Now, I know now that I won't get that same respect back, which really sucks and is really disappointing, but when you challenge people, be respectful and be fair. And instead of just tagging and sharing a bunch of posts that has someone's name implicated that was not involved, is not okay, especially from elected officials. It's not okay. You had no problem contacting me when you want to talk about stadium stuff, but I got no phone calls saying I'm sorry for tying you into this mess. I'm sorry for sharing it. I'm sorry for Harold Mill blowing your phone up on a Friday when I have to work. I have a job. I have a whole career, and it distracted me from my job because I was so upset that I was involved in a situation that had nothing to do with me. So this is my last time speaking about it, and just be nice and stop sharing a bunch of nonsense. If it's to promote your political gain, that's fine. Don't use me. That's all. Thank you.
Wow. I think that it's very important with sensitive topics that we stay focused on what happened versus connecting or trying to connect people, because what happens is when you have something as race, it's a distraction. And then you have another Black woman that is feeling targeted and feeling attacked. And so I think that it's so important with something as delicate as race that we stay focused on it and stay focused on the accountability to the particular person or to their particular entity versus trying to find alignments because it's hurtful. It's very, very difficult to try to stay fair and stay inclusive and then not try to create more unrest in the community and still play this role and still be supportive to my fellow council member. And so I'd like for the community to stay focused on what happened, and that accountability is absolutely necessary, but accountability to the particular person and not to attack an entire body based off of a comment made. That's it.
So I was at the beach and I did not really see. I have something happy to say, but Tiara, my heart breaks. I mean, I'm very sorry that you had to experience that. I am. On behalf of the party that I am affiliated with, it was not fair to tie you in. So I want to publicly tell you that that is not a fun situation to be in. So, and I think you handled it with grace, and I am very sorry that you were put in that situation.
Thank you.
But on a lighter note, I want to congratulate the Hagerstown Skate Park Task Force. They were awarded a grant from the Tony Hawk Foundation. So yeah, this is the step one. So they were awarded a small grant with the opportunity to secure a larger grant here in the next couple months. But the Tony Hawk Foundation was extremely impressed with the outpouring of community support and everything that they're trying to do. And we also had a meeting with Spawn Ranch, who is the developer that we approved. And there is going to be a community input meeting at the Fairgrounds Park. So they're looking for the community and skateboarders and moms, and it's an all-wheel park. So they're doing a community meeting on May 5th from 5:30 to 7 at the Fairgrounds Park. There'll be more information on that to follow, but we're just moving full steam ahead. So that's it.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That is very exciting.
Tony Hawk. I'm hoping he comes here.
Did you see the picture?
That would be cool.
On skateboard?
So I was too going to speak on your situation, but I don't think I can really say anything better than what you just said. I know everyone is calling for us to talk about Renee's statement, and clearly it was uncalled for. I don't think there's a single person that would sit here and say it wasn't completely uncalled for. What was also uncalled for was calling this body out and calling you out by name, because none of us are Renee Bergen. I mean, it's quite simple. And it's unfortunate that that got shared so much, and that was the narrative trying to spin, instead of saying, hey, you should have never said that. Let's use this as an education level. Instead, it was put on you because of rumors you are going to run. I mean, let's be honest, that's what it started. And it's just unfortunate. In the press release that was done, I mean, if we wrote press releases every time someone said something rude about us, that's all we would do all day. It's just, it's unfortunate. But I admire the way you handled it. You absolutely handled it with grace, and I don't envy the position you were in, because I know how it feels to spend all weekend going, stop tagging me in things, please.
Yeah.
But thank you for how you handled it, and I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thank you.
I don't really have anything else, just a quick update on the survey. Paul Falk took the online survey down, I think, yesterday. We said April 1st, left it up for a couple of days. Some results were still coming in, so we'll have all that probably in the next week or two, and then I'd like to schedule our strategic planning meeting as soon as possible. So we'll offline about that. With that, happy Tuesday, everyone. Let's go home. We're adjourned.
The old man never had moves.